Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Get Faster IBM Backups. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Electronic Storage Corporation. We are located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We are a programming software company, development company, and here in our Tulsa office, we have our own programming staff and also technical support, customer service staff. We've been in business for over 30 years. And we are an IBM registered business partner and Microsoft certified partner. So in today's sessions, we're going to do a quick intro to our VTL solution. We're with a live demonstration of our particular solution on how to speed up your backup and recoveries compared to physical tape. Elimination of tape handling, we're going to discuss. Automating your backup processes, procedures, and also your recoveries. Seamless integration and how that can work with your existing backup procedures, BRMS, Go Save commands, Robot Save, and things like that. And then a quick Q&A if you have any questions towards the end of the presentation. I can go ahead and cover those and get those answered for you. So some of the highlights of LaserVault ViTL, a VTL solution for IBM I backups, is a virtual tape solution purpose-built for IBM I, meaning that with a VTL solution like LaserVault ViTL, we're going to emulate LTO tape, we're going to emulate tape library, tape devices to give you the most flexible way of performing backups like full system, restricted state saves, and D-mode IPL. We're also going to talk about the highlights of flexible storage integration and also implementation and how you could use LaserVault ViTL either as a complete turnkey hardware software solution, software only, or even in a virtual machine and a virtual environment. We're also going to talk about one of the highlights of using existing SAN NAS storage or deduplication storage, and I could talk about some of our technology partners that we work with in terms of backup appliances for deduplication, replication, data immutability, things like that. Cloud and offsite automated replication of your backup. So if you're looking to have offsite copies, whether it's cloud storage, DR location, co-location, we're going to talk about replicating those backups so that you have multiple copies for disaster recovery. Scalable and secure, meaning that it's a solution that is easily scalable to increase backup requirements, increased backup retentions, and secure so that you can know that those backups are safe, available at all times for disaster recovery. Deduplication options for additional storage benefits. One of the add-on solutions for our particular software product, LaserVault ViTL, is a solution called bdup. So this is a built-in streamline for deduplication where you can reduce the amount of data your backups take on disk by 10, 20, 30, even 40 times. Data reduction of your backups. Number one, for saving on disk space. Number two, for replication, where you're replicating a lot less data and the requirements for bandwidth are a lot less and the time it takes also to perform replication. We're going to also, some of the other storage benefits is a gateway solution or gateway appliance between IBM and external deduplication appliance such as Exagrid, Cohesity, Rubrik, Pure Storage, IBM's Data Protect. The options for those in connectivity for saving your IBM backups are basically unlimited. There's so many of those options and solutions available on the market where you can leverage that storage for your backups for IBM I. One of our newest technology partners would be with IBM and their IBM Defender Data Protect. So as you see in a diagram, utilizing the Defender Data Protect cluster storage, deduplication, data immutability, replication capabilities of that particular solution, you can easily set up your IBM i backups through LaserVault Gateway directly to that storage protection for your IBM i backups. So let's go ahead and go through a demo of our particular solution, LaserVault ViTL. First thing I'm going to go through is our web interface. And this is really to define your tape libraries, your tape devices, adding in your virtual tapes to your inventory for all your daily, weekly, monthly tape backup rotations. So this would be primarily used for that configuration and setup. So I'm going to go through some of those options for configuring your backups to go to VTL instead of physical tape. So we've got a secure login and password to access this interface. First thing I'm going to go to would be libraries. And I've got two virtual tape libraries defined in ViTL here with this interface. Library 1 is what I'm going to edit to show some of the settings. Library name just simply specifies maybe possibly which library this partition, or which partition this tape library is used, or which system this tape library belongs to. Serial number, this is going to be presented to your IBM i as the serial number for the tape device or the tape library that's defined. We have these Ultrium LTO versions to emulate. Two things to note on choosing any of these is speed is not related to whichever LTO version you choose to create your tapes and use those LTO versions. Also, there's no capacity limitation on any of these LTOs. So if your full backup is 10 terabytes, it will fit on one single LTO 5 or LTO 8 tape. Storage slots. And this is pretty important because you virtually have unlimited number of storage slots to add tapes for your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly saves. That number of storage slots can go over 16,000. You can increase that number anytime that you need to add additional tapes. So if you're looking to change your retentions for any of your daily, weekly, monthly backups, at any time you can increase the number of storage slots, add those additional virtual tapes for those retentions that you want to include in your backup processes. You can set a default tape capacity. We do have customers that set this for certain tapes because they want to be able to rotate that tape out once it fills up. So if they're saving journal entries throughout the day, that tape they want it to eventually fill up, and then VRMS would rotate to the next tape. Some cache settings. So really the overall theme of backing up to a VTL as compared to physical tape is speed. So increasing your backup speed by 2, 3, 4 times physical tape speed. And one of the ways in which LaserVault ViTL can accomplish this would be some of the settings that are available for caching, for writing data to disk in terms of spreading that data across multiple files to do a multi-thread write process during the backup. So these are the cache settings that are available for this particular library, tape library, library 1, to manipulate these settings to get you the best backup as well as the best restore speeds from disk. Then we have replication and retention, which I'm going to go over here in just a second. But let's talk about connectivity between your VTL solution and your storage, whether that's local storage that you can use for your backups, which I have a path defined for local storage disk, remote connection to a SAN or NAS storage. So this could point to SAN or NAS storage for your backups where you could write directly to that storage. This could be SMB, NFS, share, in which you can write the data directly to that storage. And that would kind of coincide with using existing SAN or NAS storage or deduplication backup appliances for writing that data directly to that storage. Now, since we support with this VTL software multiple paths, you can define multiple paths for your backups. So it's easy to expand your storage of your virtual tape backups by adding additional paths for that storage to keep those tapes, to migrate those tapes and store those tapes. For my particular example, I'm writing backups to local disk. I can then at any time, either an automated process or a manual process of migrating any local stored tapes over to the second path or any additional path and move those tapes to that external SAN NAS storage, or in this case, cloud storage. And what this is really important for you to note as well is that even though you have tapes across multiple paths, storage paths, those tapes are still available in inventory, also seen by BRMS, for example, and you can restore anytime that you want or migrate the tape back to local storage for a restore, whichever that you would choose to do. But any of those tapes in either of these two paths are always available online to access and do a restore. So some of the settings, we have another speed advantage setting with our VTL solution, and this is called the data block file count. It's currently set to 8. And what this is doing is that when the backup is being written to disk, the backup was executed, we're writing the data to disk, we're writing it out to 8 files at once. So we're doing a multi-thread write process to speed up that backup. So we're getting 3 and 4 times the speed of backing up to physical tape. We're able to achieve that with this particular feature of writing out the data to multiple files. And that can go as high as 32 files or even just 0 files. So there's other settings. The part of the software solution for our VTL is compression, which averages 4-to-1 compression of your data. So the data during the backup process would be compressed as it's being written to disk, saving you 4 times disk space. Deduplication would then, again, we talked about earlier, would be 10, 20, 30 times compression for deduplication. Also included would be encryption. Our encryption key is here, so any data written to disk during the backup would be encrypted automatically using this key for, again, having to restore that data, becoming unencrypted to do the restore. Now we do support NPIV with fiber channel connectivity, and this would be your connectivity from the VTL solution to your IBM I, just like physical tape, or it could be a SAS connection. If you currently have SAS HBA in your IBM I system, LaserVault could also have SAS for that connectivity to emulate tape. With fiber channel, you do have NPIV capability, so with one physical fiber channel port into the LaserVault ViTL, you can have up to 64 virtual tape devices or virtual tape libraries. I have one entry here with a serial number for this tape device and a worldwide port name that can be zoned to whichever partition you'd like to use this virtual tape device. Control path yes. That gives you a virtual tape library with a virtual tape device. So when we do a work MLB status, we see TAP MLB V1, which I'll vary on. TLP V1 and TAP O1 would be the tape, or TAP V1 would be the tape device for that tape library. So that represents control path yes. Additional tape devices could be for that tape library. You simply just add additional tape by using the add function here to add additional tape devices to that control path, which would be additional assigned to that tape library, or you could add additional tape libraries with tape devices. Again, up to 64 virtual devices per physical fiber channel connection. There's also some security within this interface that you can apply to users that belong to groups. So as an administrator, these are the features that I'm allowed to change or use within this interface, logged in with my username and password as a member of group administrators. So here I'm not allowed to change write protective media, and I'm not allowed to migrate media to a different path. But I could change those easily, and as administrator, I could have all of the features of the interface based on my username and password. Replication and retention. I have several examples of replication of your backups. You can replicate to a network path, which this in many cases with our customers is a second VTL server with storage located at a DR site or co-location for replicating backups. Also have examples of replicating to Microsoft Azure S3 Wasabi. And in fact, with these replication settings, say Amazon Azure S3 or Amazon Cloud S3, the cloud storage property parameters for your cloud account are plugged in here, so that LaserVault can automatically replicate those backups to your S3 account using those storage properties, access key, security access key, things of those natures to have access to that account. So you can do replication, you can do email notifications of those replication jobs where it would notify you automatically the replication job is started and completed, or if there was a problem during the replication process. You can also apply replication to certain volumes based on prefix of those volumes. So that would give you the ability to replicate those backups based on volume, based on most recent volumes, based on all volumes. So if you wanted to run this every week, you could say replicate the last 5 daily backups, for example, to your cloud storage account. And then also enable retention, local and remote retention. So if you want to define retention, say that you're using the go save commands and you're creating a new tape before each backup is executed, you can set a retention on that particular tape. Say if it's a daily, weekly, monthly tape that you're backing up to, you can create the retention for that at the local storage as well as where it was replicated to. Okay, so now let's take a look at the inventory of Library 1. So we have all the local tapes, we have Azure tapes, so you're able to see where your tapes are located, and anytime you can perform a restore of those tapes, no matter their location. To create additional tapes, we'll go ahead and select local path, create tape, and we can put a prefix serial number on that tape, on those tapes, create multiple tapes and go ahead and initialize those. So at any time you can create additional tapes, you can add additional slots for those tapes and create additional tapes for your backups. Create media, everything is ready to go for those tapes to be used in your daily, weekly, monthly rotation backups. So the multipath also gives me the ability to look at all backups that are in a separate path, such as in this case Azure, local paths, tapes, all inventory tapes. Some of the other features you have are move, where you can manually move a tape into a drive. If that's a full system save, you can move that tape into the drive and do a full system restore. delete tape, migrate tape. Now the migrate is a feature that you can use here manually to move a tape from one path to another, or tapes can be automatically moved or migrated to another path periodically. And that is a scheduled task that could be done to migrate tapes after a certain time to another path. Protect a tape means you cannot overwrite the tape, delete it. You cannot initialize that tape until it has been unprotected. Labels, you can click on labels to see the libraries and the sequence and the size of each library that are in that backup. All of this data, if you're using BRMS, is also available down to the object and member level to where you can go perform the restores on those particular files using BRMS. But this is emulating a physical tape library, so it has auto load and unload capability, right? So it's going to automatically load a tape in the drive to perform a backup, automatically load a tape into the drive to perform a restore. So the auto load and unload features are the same here as they would be in a physical tape library. You just don't have the limitation of the number of tapes, the number of slots, and the number of tape drives, giving that with one fiber channel connection, you can have up to 64 tape devices. Okay, so let's continue. So some of the key benefits recap: faster IBM I backups and restores. And we know that writing to disk will be faster than writing to tapes, 2, 3, 4 times faster than writing to physical tape. Restores also, the other important thing to note would be that you're able to have all your backups available, all your dailies, weekly, monthly, yearly backups available, compressed, deduped, encrypted, secure backups, and secured data. Also replication with multiple copies. For restores, it's good to note that if you do perform a restore on a particular object, library, that virtual can go right to the location of that file on the virtual tape backup and immediately start the restore. So your restores begin much faster with a virtual tape solution compared to streaming through a physical tape. Simplify automated backup management, and that includes a whole slew of things that we kind of covered in terms of being able to automatically perform backups as you do today using your existing backup procedures, whether you're using Go Backup commands or BRMS, Robot Save. They all simply just migrating those backup procedures to a different tape device, which in this case would be a virtual tape device. Automated management in terms of replication, migration of your backups. So you're going to be able to eliminate the tape handling, the shipping, the recovery of physical tape when you need a particular file to recover, and that tape is offsite. This would no longer be the case because you can have everything available. Seamless integration, as we talked about, with any backup procedures that you're currently doing. Flexible storage, to be able to leverage any storage that you currently have or are looking at for other backups. You can utilize that storage for your IBM I saves. Scalable, cost-effective solution. One of the things to note as well is that our software is licensed based as a perpetual license fee. Therefore, it is not a subscription with huge exorbitant fees for those subscription fees, where you pay a one-time license fee and you own a license of the product. Data integrity, disaster readiness. Disaster readiness means that you always have that full system save available to do a restore, to do a recovery of your system. So there's some resources that you can go ahead and download that are available in the GoToWebinar panel. And here are those resources, documents that you can download. The quote sizing questionnaire is some information that you can enter onto that questionnaire that would help us give you an idea of the configuration of a VTL solution for your IBM I backups in terms of the fiber channel that's needed, the fiber channel port requirements or SAS as your connectivity, the storage requirements, whether you're using compression, deduplication, or configuring network connections to your storage, whether that be 10, 25 gig, 100 gig network connectivity from LaserVault as a gateway directly to your storage, or whether that be a fiber channel connection to your storage. That gives us an idea of how to configure a system that would meet your backup requirements, your bandwidth requirements, your storage requirements, everything that's needed in order to configure a complete backup solution for your IBM I backups. So for more information, I do have a question here I'm going to answer in just a moment. Contact us at info@laservault.com. There's our 800 number. We'll have a drawing for a 1 terabyte portable SSD SanDisk at the end of this presentation, and the winner will be notified via email. There's also a recording of this webinar that'll be posted on our YouTube channel, and that link will be sent to all attendees to review at any time and share with other colleagues. And then also at the end of the presentation is a quick survey with a few questions. If you can answer those, that'd be great. That gives us an idea of if we're covering the right material that you're looking for. If you have additional questions, feel free to use the survey to do that. So immutable backups. Immutable backups your most ultimate immutable backup is an air gap save to actually physical tape. Now with that, you are having the benefits of backing up to disk in terms of speed, in terms of replication, compression of your data, the ability to automate and keep everything available online as opposed to some of it being on site and some of the physical media being off site. But a complete air gap solution would be you can actually replicate to a physical tape with a tape device directly connected to our VTL solution or connected to the IBM I. In terms of other immutability, many of our existing technology partners, Rubrik, Cohesity, give you the ability to perform snapshots on your backups. And these are immutable according to their technology. And so therefore you can have a backup of the backup. With the LaserVault ViTL solution, you can have multiple copies as well as tape copies for air gap, but it gives you the ability to create multiple copies of your backups that can be available at any time for restores. And if you have standards for immutability, please feel free to share those the parameters of your data immutability so we can meet up with those particular requirements with a VTL solution. Okay, so any other questions, feel free to type those in on the questions and answer option in the GoToWebinar panel, and I can go ahead and answer those questions for you. One of the things that we also offer with our solution is remote installation and training services. And I say remote because it's pretty typical that our new customers opt in for remote support in terms of installation, configuration, training of our solution, because it really is that easy to implement a solution like this, even no matter the amount of data that you're working with and backing up, number of partitions, things like that. But we do also offer on-site installation and training. Yes, parallel backups, definitely. Even with just two virtual drives in a parallel, will double the speed of your backup. I think that once you get up to about 3 or 4 tape devices, you're really not going to gain in that much additional speed but we do have customers definitely using more than 5 tape devices for parallel saves, and it does increase the backup speed, yes. And you'd also have the benefit of NPIV, which, utilizing 16, 32, 64 gig fiber channel and having multiple virtual drives with any of those fiber channel speed options. I know that with Power 10, 16 gig would be the minimum, but certainly going up to 64 gig, capable for the backup for the fiber channel connectivity. And then, calculate in also the bandwidth from your VTL gateway to your storage, whether that be 10, 25, or 100 gig Ethernet. So what we're looking to do is configure the system with the proper amount of bandwidth to deal with the amount of data that you need to back up, and then the time in which you need to do that save. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for their time today. Really appreciate it, you attending. And if you have any need for information, pricing, let us know, info@laservault.com. Thanks again, and everyone enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.